Um, my first question, of course, is to our former colleague, Secretary Duque. Sec, last hearing po kasi, nagkaroon ng mga katanungan in relation to the pandemic response. So, my first question is, who decided and who computed for the COVID test package of 8,200 pesos? Can PhilHealth confirm this? Because last hearing, how much was the price? If you were the Secretary of Health during the time of the pandemic at nakikita mo, hindi sinunod yung WHO formula, tayo ang may pinakamahal na testing which is 8,150 per test compared to 2,000 pesos sa neighboring countries. What will you do?
The NDRRMC, a National Vaccination Operations Center, was likewise activated to meet our national vaccination targets. Both the NTF and the NVOC had regional coordinating mechanisms which then touch base with the LGUs, health facilities, and other agencies. This implementation structure is indeed mouthful, but the complexity of staging a nationwide pandemic response entailed many moving parts. The structure thus reflects the sizable and varied tasks that befell the national government, most especially the DOH, which had a lion's share of the work then at hand. As then the Secretary of Health and concurrent chair of the IATF-MEID, we spared no effort to manage and control the COVID-19 pandemic. The IATF formulated national COVID-19 policies underpinning health protocols in various settings, coordinating and orchestrating our pandemic response while soliciting private sector support and complementation through partnerships. Our collective efforts, Your Honors, through our effective and successful prevent, detect, isolate, treat, reintegrate plus vaccinate or PDITR strategy was a product of our adoption of the whole of government and whole of society approach. We were able to build our nationwide capacity for testing through RT-PCR labs from one lone lab to 340 RT-PCR labs. We were able to put up temporary treatment and monitoring facilities for isolation and quarantine from just under 500 to 106,000 beds. We established the One Hospital Command for patient navigation and referral. We have expanded our national hospital bed and critical care capacity for COVID from 2,890 to 30,820 beds. And we have achieved our vaccination targets with 77+ million Filipinos fully vaccinated by the end of year 2022. Your Honors, one of the most critical challenges at the beginning of the pandemic was the shortage of life-saving PPEs. The challenge was just not procuring the PPEs ASAP, but also figuring out where they can be sourced in the first place. Given the severity of the public health emergency, we at the IATF and NTF deemed it best to rely on the expertise of the PSDBM and its network of suppliers for sourcing of the much-needed PPEs along with other essential goods and services for emergency response. Given that the lives of our healthcare workforce depended on the procurement of PPEs. In doing so, we were guided by the authority of the PSDBM granted by various laws and regulations, such as various EOS, Letter of Instructions, EO 385, EO 285, GPPB S3 Series of 2020, Admin Order Number 17 of 2011, Section 53.5 RA 9184. Your Honors, our overriding consideration then was to prevent, if not mitigate, the risk of our people and healthcare workers, rather than waiting for local suppliers whom we knew had no capacity initially to supply the exceptionally large volume PPEs and other COVID supplies that were needed. We could not negligently put the lives of our healthcare workers at risk of widespread infections and countless deaths, possibly leading to the collapse of the entire health system. Lastly, Your Honors, the pandemic has allowed us to realize the DOH institutional limitations, and all the milestones I have earlier mentioned would have not been possible if the DOH went on without assistance of other government agencies. We would not have stood a fighting chance without the first tranches of PPEs, which was a lifeline for our health workers. We would not have sustained our gains in the COVID-19 response efforts without the augmentation of health equipment and infrastructure secured through our loans from international financial institutions, as well as the vaccines we were able to purchase through this funding. Again, Your Honors, throughout the pandemic response, we were guided by a singular overriding consideration, and that is the best interest of our people in general and our healthcare workers in particular, who were and who are the indispensable backbone of our nation's healthcare system. Thank you and good morning, Your Honors.
Salamat, Secretary Duque. Meron po bang iba pang resource persons ang nais magbigay ng opening statement? Okay. If none, may we request the COMSEC to give us a list of documents that both the DOH and the PhilHealth had submitted to us, as well as those that they had not yet submitted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The members of the committee requested documents to DOH and PhilHealth, and the following were submitted. A list of report of all funds transferred to procurement service, PSDBM, from 2018 to present. Reconciliation of statement of cash flow of the PhilHealth. COA report on the interim reimbursement mechanism, findings. Report on the details of the 47.6 billion fund transfers in full, accounting of the procured test kits, total cost, total recipients, and number of expired kits. Report on mental health program of the DOH. Copy of the department order issued by the DOH stating the agency will no longer be issuing succeeding fund transfer to the PSDBM. Documents relevant to the conceptualization, implementation, and monitoring of IRM. Documents related to the conceptualization, application, utilization, approval of COVID loans to procure COVID-19 vaccines, including all minutes of the meeting and financial documents. Timetable of the costing of COVID-19 from the PhilHealth. List of COVID-related items procured through government agreements from the DOH. Data on COVID vaccine acquired from all sources in comparison to the number of inoculated population. And copy of the loans and procurement agreements. What we have not received yet, Madam Chair, is the list of disease illnesses with the highest amount of claims from PhilHealth. Reports on the amounts paid by PhilHealth in relation to the no balance billing policy. Report on the implementation of primary care provider network from PhilHealth. And also report on the status of healthcare workers allowances from the DOH. Copy of public-private partnership agreement entered into by the DOH. And for the list of breakdown of various health facilities accredited from PhilHealth, facilities, names, and programs, they are partially complied, Madam Chair. That's all, ma'am.
Madam Chair,
Yes, the Honorable Fernandez.
good morning. Have the resource speakers have taken their oath?
Not yet.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Can we take their oath, Madam Chair?
1 minute suspension.
Madam Chair.
The meeting is hereby resumed.
Yeah. Madam Chair. Madam Chair here. Madam Chair, Mandy.
Oh yes, Press Andy.
Can I just add something to COMSEC's? We submitted the following documents this morning. Can I briefly
Yes,
mention
please.
them? So the following were submitted this morning, Madam Chair, in addition to what COMSEC mentioned, no? From PhilHealth po to. Comparative report on PhilHealth's premium contributions versus benefit payments, statement of cash flow versus statement of income. Briefer on the IRM, interim reimbursement mechanism. PhilHealth's compliance to audit report on the IRM. Briefer and accreditation status of the National Center for Geriatric Health and Specialty Center. Statistics on accredited health facilities. Briefer on COVID-19 testing packages. Chronological report on IRM approval and implementation, and copies of the minutes of the meeting on IRM policy. And lastly, Madam Chair, report on COVID-19 testing claims per PhilHealth Regional Office per sector covering calendar year 2020 to 2024. Thank you po, Madam Chair. These
Thank
were
you.
all submitted this morning, Madam Chair.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Thank you.
ipa-email lang po.
Honorable Fernandez.
Were all the documents that in the last hearing that we've asked, no? Like for example, the PhilHealth have submitted the documents just this morning. May we remind our resource speakers to submit it much earlier for the members to somehow read it in advance so we can have a more intelligent discussion of the matter. Thank you so much, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
moving forward. Kasi our last hearing happened Wednesday. So they only had 2 days. But for the next hearing, gagawin nila yon.
Noted
Okay.
po, Madam Chair. Tsaka, ma'am, kasi maraming kasing documents eh. Pero noted po, Kong, Madam Chair.
Kasi, ma'am, we're really having a hard time to discuss it. And I'm just asking the COMSEC to give us the documents. But okay lang po, Madam. Maraming salamat po.
All right?
Thank you po.
And just to remind the members, our Soljan Guevara is here in his capacity as former SOJ, Secretary of Justice. Okay. We have a list of interpellators, but with the kind indulgence of the members, allow me to ask a few clarificatory questions dahil po merong may seeming confusion patungkol dun sa isasoling pondo ng PhilHealth sa government. At ako yung nagtanong kasi noon nung huling hearing. So if I may ask a few more questions para lang malinawan ng ating mga kababayan tungkol dito, Press Mandy. So if I may, tama po ba na meron kayong dalawang klaseng contributions? Yung direct contributions at indirect contributions, tama?
Yes po, Your
Yung
Honor.
direct contributions, yung mga kinokolekta ninyo sa mga manggagawa.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. At meron namang indirect contributions na kinokolekta ninyo from government.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At yung indirect contributions, ito po yung subsidiya para sa indigent families, tulad ng 4Ps.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Kasama din dyan yung subsidiya para sa senior citizens, PWDs.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay, so maliwanag na magkahiwalay yon.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At nagkaroon kayo ng accounting ng excess funds para sa dalawang programa na yon.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. At ang lumabas na excess funds or net flow, ibig sabihin ng excess funds, yung sobra doon sa kinolekta ninyo na contribution versus yung ginastos ninyo in terms of benefit spending.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At ang accounting ninyo ay separate for the direct contributors at indirect contributors.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At pag sinabing indirect contributors, gobyerno yan.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. So, yung excess funds doon sa indirect contributors, meaning doon sa subsidiya na galing sa gobyerno noong 2023 ay 38.8 billion. Tama po? At noong 2022 ay 24 billion.
Just double checking, Your Honor.
Yes, I'm just running the numbers by you, and please double check. And noong 2021, 27.1 billion for a total of 89.9 billion.
Your Honor, those figures are correct based on the computation of Department of Finance, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay, so yung 89.9 na yan ay excess funds mula sa subsidiya na galing sa gobyerno at hindi po yan galing sa contributions ng mga manggagawa.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. So, sa makatuwid, itong mga numero na to, hindi tayo magkakaroon ng excess funds kung antemano noong NEP, noong nag-submit ng National Expenditure Program ang DBM sa Kongreso ay tama ang pag-compute ng DBM.
Yes po, Your Honor.
In other words, masasabi natin na error po ito sa computation. Kasi kung tama ang pag-compute ng gobyerno, ay hindi tayo magkakaroon ng excess funds. Ibig sabihin, kung tama ang pag-anticipate ng gagastusin para sa ating indigent households, para sa seniors, para sa PWD, at kayang-kaya naman po itong ma-estimate, ay magiging tama sana ang isisingil sa gobyerno taon-taon. Tama?
Yes po, Your Honor.
In which case, hindi dapat tayo magkakaroon ng sobra-sobrang excess funds dito sa indirect contribution. Tama?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Nagkataon lang na tao lang tayo. At hindi natin na-compute ng tama. Noong taong 2023, 2022, 2021. Kaya nagkaroon ng ganyang excess funds.
Yes po, Your Honor.
89.9 billion. At yun ang naging basehan kung bakit nag-commit ang PhilHealth na magsole nitong excess funds.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay? So maliwanag, hindi po yan manggagaling sa mga contributions ng ating manggagawa.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At lahat ng contributions ng ating manggagawa ay intact po sa
Yes po, Your Honor. Yes
sa
po,
PhilHealth.
Your Honor.
Lahat po yan nasa reserve funds, etc.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Pero sa totoo lang, ay excess pa rin yun. Maraming excess pa rin na nandun sa reserve funds. Pero nandun pa rin siya.
Yes po, Your Honor. But, Honor, if I may, sorry, Your Honor, if I may add also, we are aggressively enhancing our benefit
Yes, so
packages.
let me please just answer yes or no. Under
Yes
the
po, Your Honor.
under the law, para sa ating mga manggagawa na nag-contribute at meron silang excess contributions pa for whatever reason na hindi natin nagagastos fully at this point in time, under the law, merong dalawang courses of action ng PhilHealth. Tama?
Yes po.
The first is, pwede kayong mag-expand ng benefits. Tama?
Yes po.
The second is, pwede kayong magbaba ng kinokolekta sa kanila. Tama?
Yes po.
Okay.
Correct po.
So sa ating mga kababayan na nakikinig at nagko-contribute sa PhilHealth, yon ang pinag-aaralan nyo sa ngayon.
Yes po, Your Honor.
At meron kayong strong commitment that you will do one or the other or both.
Yes po, Your Honor. 100%, Your Honor.
Okay. So, maliwanag na sana po sa ating...
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes,
If
Honorable
I may
Karin.
be allowed to interject. Pasensya na po, I'm not a finance person. On a layman's perspective, ang ibig po ba sabihin ng pinag-uusapan nyo ay yung 89.9 billion apparently is an overpayment of government to
Parang
PhilHealth.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Parang sumobra yung bayad, naging honest ang PhilHealth, sinusoli nyo yung sobrang bayad. Ganun po ba, Madam Chair?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Yeah. Madam Chair, quick interjection. One question addressed to Secretary Duque and Secretary Herbosa. Having been with the family before, my experience is that when we submit, as chairman of the PhilHealth Board, when the president of PhilHealth submits an estimated number of indigents, farmers, fisher folks to be enrolled before PhilHealth. It is an estimated number. Can Secretary Duque confirm this?
Yes, that is absolutely
Secretary
correct.
Herbosa, please.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
President Mandy, please.
My mic. Yes, Your Honor.
So, Madam Chair, pag humihingi ng pera ang PhilHealth at DOH sa DBM, it is an estimated number. And Madam Chair, last question kay Secretary Duque, because when I was chairman of the board, he was a member of the board, and I believe the president at the time was Alex Padilla, Attorney Padilla. There were a lot of situations where DBM questioned PhilHealth because when they started asking specifically for the name of senior citizens, kasi yun yung Magna Carta, yung senior citizens law, there were a lot of duplications and senior citizens who apparently were either paying for their own premium because they were still working or yung sumakabilang buhay na. In other words, there was an estimated 7.7 million na hiningian ng pondo, but what was validated was more or less around 5 million. If the Secretary can...
Yes, Sec Duque.
Yeah, honestly, I cannot recall the numbers. It's been a little a long time ago, but I know that there have been some instances where DBM would question the figures submitted by the PhilHealth, and I would have no reason to doubt the figures articulated by the former Secretary of Health, Congresswoman Garin.
So, Madam Chair, just to recap, what actually happens is that PhilHealth gives an estimate of people whose premium will be paid by government, na yung kanilang PhilHealth premium ay babayaran ng gobyerno. Ang ginagawa naman ng DOH, pinapasa ito sa kabinete at ngayon nagiging pinupondohan ito ng Kongreso, believing that these are real figures. Along the process, nakikita ng DBM, oops, patay na pala yung mga ito. Oops, double funding yung mga ito. Oops, nag-enroll na pala ito sa sarili niya. Kaya sumobra yung bayad ng gobyerno papunta sa PhilHealth. Is that my understanding, Madam Chair?
Well, yun ang pagkakaintindi ko na isang source of mistake or source of overpayment. Pero yung isa din is yung sa actual premium per head. Kasi hindi lang sa pagbibilang ng tao, pero dun din sa, kasi meron, magkano ba ang charge sa inyo per head, Press Mandy? 2.4 ba?
I'll give the exact, ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am, it's, Honorable Chair, it's 5,000 for senior citizens.
So it's 5,000 for seniors.
For senior citizens
and then
po.
for indigent.
I think it's around 3,000, ma'am. I'll get the exact
So
figure.
yes, exactly. So hindi rin maliwanag kung anong basehan ng mga numero na yon. So dalawa ang sa tingin kong sources of overpayment. One is yung sinasabi ni Honorable Garin is yung bilang ng tao na talagang actually nakakatanggap ng benepisyo, at yung pangalawa is yung basehan nung premium na china-charge ninyo sa gobyerno. So, yun po.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just to correct. Pag nagsasubmit po ang PhilHealth ng numero ng pinapopondohan sa gobyerno, they use the estimated population, not the actual members. Yun po yung ibig sabihin. Kunyari, 8 million senior citizens, yun yung binibilang nila. Hindi pa kasama dun yung premium. And there were instances na kunyari, bago yung batas, nire-retroactive nila. Hence, the excess payment because of excess collection. In other words, namali ang estimate. Kaya ang understanding ko, Madam Chair, sumobra yung bayad ng DBM at pwedeng ibalik sa gobyerno. Tama po ba, Press Mandy, Madam Chair?
Tama po ako. Ma'am, if I may, just to add to your earlier query. So, just to clarify to this honorable committee, for annual subsidy, ma'am, for indigent members employed, it's 3,000. For PWD, non-poor and employed, it's 5,000. For migrant worker, sea-based poor, 3,000. And for solo parents, non-poor, employed, 3,000. And then PWD, non-poor and non-employed, without GAA subsidy, 5,000. Migrant worker, land-based poor, 3,000. And lastly, solo parents, non-poor, non-employed, 3,000. Hope that clarifies everything, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yes, so moving forward, ang sinasabi ko, dapat merong actuarial basis for all of these numbers. Kasi kung wala, ay talagang every year tayo magsusulian ng pera.
Yes po.
Hanggat hindi yan actuarially fair, hindi po yan magiging zero sa excess funds.
Duly
Yun po.
noted, Madam Chair. Yes.
Yes
Thank
po.
you, Madam Chair.
So with that, let's now proceed to the first interpellator. Our Vice Chair, Janet Garin, is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. My first question, of course, is to our former colleague, Secretary Duque. Sec, last hearing po kasi, nagkaroon ng mga katanungan in relation to the pandemic response. So, my first question is, who decided and who computed for the COVID test package of 8,200 pesos? Can PhilHealth confirm this? Because last hearing, how much was the price? 82, 81, 85?
We're just double-checking, Mama.
Yeah, or can Secretary Duque probably remember, Madam Chair?
My recollection, Your Honor, is that the projected cost of the test, because this was at the initial stage of the pandemic, there was a technical group. I'm trying to recall the name. Dr. Carlo Panelo, I think, was part of that group that made a study on what was the correct fee for the tests for COVID. So I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can't recall exactly the basis.
Magkano po?
Parang mga ganun eh. Parang
8,500,
parang mga-
8,200.
I hope PhilHealth can confirm that, Your
Ma'am,
Honor.
here, we already have the figures, ma'am.
Yes, who would like to provide a response?
I will, Your Honor. As of April 14, 2020, the price was 8,150 pesos. And then on June 25, 2020, the price was brought down to 3,409 pesos. And then on November 30, 2021, the price was brought down to 2,800 pesos. And then on May 26, 2021, the price was further reduced to 2,287 pesos. And then on November 30, 2021, the price was 2,450 pesos. And then lastly, on June 10, 2022, Madam Chair, the price was... Wala na po, sorry. So the last one was on... The last price reduction was on November 30, 2021. It was at 2,450 pesos, Madam Chair. Thank you po.
Madam Chair, may we request PhilHealth to furnish us a breakdown of establishments, facilities, private and government, including the amount, and base it on the date of testing.
We'll do po.
Who actually receive COVID testing reimbursement. May follow-up question to Secretary Duque, Madam Chair.
Yes po, ma'am. We will submit po.
Thank you,
po.
maraming salamat. Sec, hindi po ba sa lahat ng mga testing na ginagawa, there's a WHO formula that is being utilized?
Yes, if I recall, that is part of the considerations in the formulation of the testing costs.
So, Madam Chair, this...
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I just
Sec.
wanted to interject with your permission that in the initial stage of the pandemic, where there was a scant supply of test kits, the testing cost was clearly very high, but as soon as time went by and supplies and prices started to stabilize, then DOH with PhilHealth started to make the corresponding adjustments. So they started to reformulate the testing fees so that pababa ng pababa as the supplies increased and as the prices stabilized. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I bring back the memory of the Honorable Secretary Duque, nababa po ng nababa ang presyo nung paulit-ulit po namin kinakatok ang inyong opisina during the budget deliberations. Because 8,150 per COVID test is exorbitant. Kaya nga po, Madam Chair, if the Honorable Duque is aware that there is a WHO formula being used in computation, this will point to the fact that the test cost should have actually been between 2,000 to 2,500 pesos. Di po ba? So, nag-take advantage yung iba kasi binigyan na ng presyo na 8,150. So, Madam Chair, may I request the Secretariat for the next hearing, we invite those responsible for computing such. Kasi kawawa naman yung taong bayan na napag-isip na ganun pala kamahal. Secretary, did you ever ask your counterpart ministers in other countries? Kagaya po ng Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, yung ating pong mga neighbors, because there's a network where secretaries collaborate and discuss. Natanong niyo po ba sila magkano yung kanilang COVID testing cost?
I'm sorry, Madam Chairperson, I don't recall having consulted my contemporaries in the other ministries of health, but I would like to believe that the benefit package or benefit development office of PhilHealth was the responsible office to ensure that the testing fees or costs are sensitive to our people's ability to pay. No? So, yung benefit development
So,
office ng...
Madam Chair, ang sinasabi po, tinuturo po ni Secretary Duque yung benefit office. But is it not prudent for you as Secretary of Health to oversee? So, my next question, Secretary Herbosa, dahil kayo po ay nanungkulan rin sa Departamento ng Kalusugan before. If you were the Secretary of Health during the time of the pandemic at nakikita mo, hindi sinunod yung WHO formula, tayo ang may pinakamahal na testing which is 8,150 per test compared to 2,000 pesos sa neighboring countries. What will you do, Honorable Secretary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Usually, even our price of other medical devices and tests increase because of additional VAT, the traders' costs. So when we compare our healthcare costs to other countries, there's a slight markup. So I'll just make sure that the comparable markup is not exorbitant. So you'll also
Actually,
compare
Madam
with
Chair,
other
my
countries.
question was, what are you going to do if you were the Secretary during that time? At nakita nga, kasi ang sinasabi ni Secretary Duque, ang nag-compute daw ay yung isang opisina sa PhilHealth. But of course, he's the chairman of the board. At alam lahat yung cost nun. Kasi malawakan na naririnig yon. So my question is, tsaka SecTed, ang VAT po ay 12% lang. So we're talking about 2,000 pesos versus 8,150. Siguro naman, hindi naman po yun yung customs duties, taxes, and VAT. So my question is, having been with the Department of Health, and now that you are Secretary, and as Secretary of Health, you oversee, you're the chairman of the board of PhilHealth, susundin mo lang ba ang sinabi ng isang opisina, nag-compute kami ganito, meron namang WHO formula.
We agree, Madam Chair, no? We have to look at all costs. Tama din naman yung sinabi ni former Secretary Duque na at the beginning there was scarcity of all these tests, so that the prices
Madam Chair,
even
pasensya na po.
from sources
Sec,
was higher.
with due courtesy, please answer my question directly. Napakasimple po ng tanong ko. Tama po ba na hindi ka gumalaw, maging pipi at bigi ka na lang, na alam mo namang napakamahal ng testing at inaabuso ng PhilHealth and inaabuso yung taong bayan kasi may pandemya. My question is, 8,150 ang binigay, suggested, recommended testing cost. Recommended yan eh. Kasi hindi naman ikaw ang nagde-decide. As head of the agency, will you just accept it? That can be answerable by yes or no.
No, we'll not just accept it. We'll have to study it and compare with both local and international cost. In fact, at that time, ang mababa po, pinakamababa po was the Philippine Red Cross na testing rates.
Yeah, Madam Chair, may I request the Honorable Herbosa to please answer all our questions directly and avoid going around the bush because this is a serious hearing. Moving forward, Madam Chair, ang sinabi ni Secretary Duque kanina is pandemic, mahirap, walang supply. Tama naman po yun. But is it not, Secretary Duque, that the government is the most powerful institution in a country? In fact, any hospital or any clinic will have difficulty surviving if they are not accredited by PhilHealth or the government. So yung sinabi niyong hindi kaya ng gobyerno, kasi yung stock nasa mga pribadong sektor lang. But we were seeing in the news that the authorities were actually raiding the private businessmen for this. So ano po ang comment nyo dito?
I don't exactly I did not understand the context.
Yeah, the context, Madam Chair, is earlier, the Honorable Secretary said, kaya naging mahal yan, hindi na kayo nag-communicate sa ibang ministers of health, hindi nyo na rin kinonsider yung WHO formula kasi talaga namang may shortage at walang stock. Pero kung walang stock, bakit kaya ng private sector magpa-test? Kasi ang issue here is the issue here is the price. The issue here is PhilHealth paying 8,150 pesos per COVID testing at yun ang naging benchmark. Kaya lahat ng private laboratories, including government laboratories, ay tinaga yung mga pasyente. And mind you, nagkaroon pa kayo ng ruling na hindi pwedeng i-release kung hindi maging negative ang test. Where everybody, virologists and immunologists knew that after 10 to 2 weeks, ay pwede nang hindi na infectious ang pasyente. So the point here is, the pandemic became an opportunity para lalong masirap yung tao. So ang tanong ko nga, ang sinasabi mo, walang available, bakit kinaya ng mga pribadong sektor? Ano po ang pananaw nyo?
I will have to have that looked into, and but given my limitations as a private individual now, I would like to ask the DOH, the COVID laboratory expert panel, to look into the matter, because what is clear here is, as I've said earlier, the supplies then at the height of the pandemic or the initial stages of the pandemic was scarce. And so it was really difficult. Everybody was scrambling for supplies, and the whole world suffered from the global supply chain shortage. And so this affected even formulation of testing fees. But the important thing is you would see the downward trajectory of the testing cost as soon as supplies became more available and prices began to stabilize. It's not as if the 8,000
Sige,
became
Madam
a
Chair,
steady cost and plateaued there. Meron naman po
Madam
talagang-
Chair, tanggapin na lang natin ang sagot ni Secretary Duque na dahil naging available ang supplies, bumaba ang cost of testing. But records in Congress will bear it out that there were a lot of push from Congress for DOH to bring down the cost because it was a lot cheaper in the private sector. Let me move forward, Madam Chair, to my next question. In the previous hearing, ang sabi ng Department of Health that the DOH has around 110 to 120 bids and awards committees. can the Secretariat confirm this based on our records? Okay. So, Sec Duque, napakarami pala ng back ng Department of Health. Kasi kawawa naman yung ating DOH, including ikaw, na nagkaroon tuloy ng problema at kaso simply because there was the transfer of, magkano nga ba yung nalipat? How much was transferred to PSDBM? 47 billion. 46, the amount of money transferred to PSDBM. So, with 110 to 120 bids and awards committees, paano po nangyari na nilipat yung 47 billion approximately to PSDBM that pave way for DOH and yourself to end up having cases? Kasi kawawa naman yung ating mga health workers. Ano po ang naging reason nito, Sec?
Madam Chairperson, the information of the DOH having 110 co-backs, no, is far from the truth, because the co-back of the DOH only totals about 5 committees on bids and awards. And during that time,
Madam Chair,
Chairperson,
pasensya po, Sec, let's go direct kasi sayang yung oras. You're saying that the Department of Health has only 5 backs total. And Yusek Bravo, in the previous hearing, mentioned around 110 to 120. Secretary Herbosa, ilan po ba ang backs ng DOH?
Minimum po, ay, tama yung 100 kasi yung 5 is in the central office lang
Okay.
po yun.
So what was
ang
given
lahat ng
to
hospital,
us-
meron pong 87 yon,
Okay.
merong isa o dalawang back yon. Ganun din ang regional offices, may isa o dalawang back din po yon.
So in a nutshell, tama po ba ang sinagot ng DOH nung nakarang hearing that the Department of Health has 110 to 120 bids and awards committees?
More or less, nationwide po.
What does Secretary Duque say?
yeah, I was referring to only the central office co-back, Madam Chairperson.
Follow-up question, Madam Chair. Bakit po ipipilit nyo yung central office back, even with 5 backs? Eh, hindi po ba ang Department of Health, when you bid, kasama po yan lahat, including yung hospital backs, regional backs, attached agency backs?
Your Honor, Madam Chairperson, at that time, we were really scrambling for supplies. It would be too simplistic to assume that at the initial stages of the pandemic, there were sufficient local suppliers to provide the much needed COVID supplies, and in particular, the personal protective equipment. So, wala. Dahil at the time, nag-lockdown tayo.
So, Madam
Tapos,
Chair, ang sinasabi ni Secretary Duque, pag DOH ang nagpabid, walang stock. Pag PSDBM ang nagpabid, merong stock. Ganun po ba ang aming pagkaintindi? Because you're telling us that there was scarcity of suppliers, so you have to transfer the funds to PSDBM. Pareho naman kayong ahensya ng Pilipinas. What makes PSDBM special that you have to course all the biddings through that agency rather than Department of Health, who has the technical expertise?
we actually, our co-backs remained functional. And in fact, they did.
So why transfer, Secretary, 47 billion to PSDBM and put the career of DOH people on the firing range?
The answer to that, Madam Chairperson, is that the transfer was precisely effected and approved by the IATF, NTF, and endorsed to the President to
So, Madam
transfer
Chair, may I
to
move that the
PSDBM.
Secretary provide us with the documents and the minutes of the meeting showing the directive of the IATF to transfer the money from DOH to PSDBM?
I will review the records, Madam Chairperson, and I will...
Teka, Madam
There's
Chair.
there's a motion. Do I hear a second? All right. Hearing no objection, the motion is carried.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, we will go back to that issue in the subsequent hearings. My last question to Secretary Duque. Sec, pasensya na Sec ha, kasi nalito kami nung previous hearing, supposedly hindi naman ito yung topic. Pero nagulat po kasi kami nung nasabing, can you confirm this? 71 billion ang inutang natin? Is that only for vaccines or is that for the whole COVID response? The total loan.
Plus 43,
May 43 pa. 71.
71 plus 45.3 of the 45, sinoli 40.
Can I just have a minute, Madam Chairperson, as I have to get the figures from my staff, just for a while.
Okay, Mr. Ma'am. Kukunin niya lang.
Okay, so kindly verify.
Honorable Garin, based on my memory, two figures emerged in the last hearing. There's 71 billion and 45.3 billion. And of the 45.3 billion, I believe 43 billion was returned.
Madam Chair, may I request that the BIHC Director, Sudhya Kal, be given the floor, Madam Chair. Thank you.
As Ms. Aleli, you have the floor.
Thank you po, Madam Chair, and thank you, Secretary Duque. Yes, the Philippines made 6 loans from 3 from the aid. No, I will explain later. Some of these are just part of the 2 major or parent loans, one from the World Bank and one from the Asian Development Bank. So there is the Philippine COVID-19 Emergency Response Project, or the PSERP, wherein we made a loan of 100 million. We have the PSERP additional financing
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
The Philippine COVID Emergency Response
project po.
Project.
That's a PSERP po.
Okay.
And then, so the first tranche of that is worth $100 million. The second one, the PSERP additional financing, which is worth $485,180,000. And then the PSERP 2 additional financing worth $300 million, which was eventually canceled in September 2023.
Madam Chair, sandali lang po nasanay kasi ako sa pesos.
Sorry po.
So, yeah. So, can we translate that to pesos so we avoid confusion? So, the initial first tranche of the loan was 100 million. Is that dollars or pesos?
Dollars po, Madam.
So it's $100 million.
Yes, ma'am.
Yung pangalawang utang, $485 million, $180,000. Okay.
Yes po.
Tapos yung pangatlo is $300 million.
Which was canceled in September 2023. And then,
Was it canceled completely?
Yes, Madam. Yes, Madam Congressman Garin po.
Okay.
And then we have the HEAL, or the Health System to Enhance and Limit COVID-19 project. So HEAL, under HEAL 1, we also made a loan of $125 million US. Under HEAL 2, we made a loan of $700 million. And under HEAL 2 additional financing, an additional $500 million.
You call that Hill 3 na? Or,
Yes, opo.
so it's Hill 1, 2, 3. Hill 1, $125 million. Hill 2, $700 million. Hill 3, $500 million.
Opo.
So any other loan?
No, yun lang po, Madam.
So that would be a
Congressman Garin.
total of 3, 4, 8, 10.
In pesos.
Sorry, Madam Chair. Magkano lahat? So lahat ng loans na ito, Madam Chair, na-release.
Opo. Sorry, let me interject, Honorable Garin. Why is this different from the numbers that you mentioned in the previous hearing? In the previous hearing, you mentioned 71 billion and 45.3, of which 43 was returned. That was what I remember. So that's 71 plus 2, so 73. But now that you're, well, roughly, I'm computing about 105. Those are very different numbers.
Madam Chair, I would like to defer to the statement my colleague, Director Ella. I was not the one who gave those numbers.
Well, we don't, it's not important kung sino po sa inyo ang nagsalita. Kayo po ay dumating dito bilang isang pamilya. Yun lang po ang importante.
Yes po, Madam
Kung
Chair.
ano po ang lumabas po na impormasyon, kahit sino po ang nagsalita, yun po ang kinukuha po namin na
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
katotohanan. Yes po,
And
Honorable
that's the
Fernandez.
reason why we have to
Opo.
take their oath. Precisely, I was really confused as well because I was trying to look at my records. In the last hearing, you have mentioned 71 point something billion. And then from GA, it was like 42 billion. And then a while ago, they're mentioning about the $100 million, the $700 million, and the $300 million. And we are so confused on what to believe in. And it is incumbent upon all the resource speakers to tell us the exact amount of the loan that we incurred. And lying in this committee entails responsibility. And that's the reason why a while ago I was trying to move for these resource speakers to take their oath. With that, Madam Chair, I think it is important to do is to take the oath of all these resource speakers. Madam
Yes,
Chair.
we are constrained to do this. So,
In that sense, Madam Chair, I move that we take the oath of these resource speakers.
yes, we hear no objections. Motion's carried. COMSEC, kindly administer the oath.
May we request all our resource persons to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in this committee meeting? Thank you.
Let me just quickly ask this question. Doon po sa 300 million canceled loan, magkano po ang penalties incurred?
Yeah.
Boxing lang po yung tinanong last time.
Okay po. Madam Chair,
Okay, so,
let me just refer
so
to
ngayon,
my-
now that
Okay.
you're now under oath, pwede niyo na pong ulitin ang numero nung anim na ngayon na hindi lang dalawa, 6 na utang, at paki-include po ang penalties at paki-indicate po ang peso amounts. Salamat po.
Madam Chair, for the HEAL 1, the $125 million is equivalent to 6.3 billion pesos. For the HEAL 2, which is $700 million equivalent to 35 billion pesos. For the HEAL 2 additional financing of $500 million equivalent to 25 billion pesos. For the PSERP, which is $100 million, that's 5.09 billion pesos. For the PSERP 1, $100 million worth 5.09 billion pesos.
Ms. Aleli, for PSERP,
2, yes po. So PSERT 1, $5.09 billion. The second PSERP is $5.09 billion as well.
so pareho po silang 5.09. Magkaiba po yung...
Madam Chair, $100 million is equivalent to 5.09 billion pesos. Now, yung 485 million,
ay hindi po.
$180, hindi pwede maging
Magkaiba po
parehas.
ang PSERP 1 in USD at PSERP 2 in USD. Bakit po sila pareho in peso amounts?
Doc, bakit?
Pakilinaw po,
Opo.
Ms. Aleli.
Yes, ma'am. Pareho $100 million. Bakit pareho to? 5.09, 5.09. Mali. Yes. Madam Chair, our apologies. We are recomputing. We have them in dollars, but yun po, you're correct po. Bakit parehong 100? Apologies, but we will send the final conversion.
Just open your calculator and compute it.
Yeah, Madam Chair, quick interjection. Pardon me for my ignorance. Hindi kasi ako sanay umutang ng dollars, pesos lang eh. So, if you borrow, let's say my rough computation here is around $2.21 billion. When you borrowed, the peso to dollar conversion was around how much? 54, 51.
At that time po, 51.
So 51 pesos. So $1 is to 51 pesos. Ngayon, $1 is to 58 to 59 pesos. Ang ibig po bang sabihin, yung equivalent ng peso na ito ay hindi na ganito because nag-shoot up na siya?
Honorable Congressman Garin, the banks have a system of computing po. They call it the LIBOR or the...
So what's the system of computation? Do you base it on the peso-dollar conversion rate during that time or you base it during the current time?
Apologies po. I am checking with my colleagues po. These amounts po are being paid by the Bureau of Treasury. So
Yeah,
the
Madam
DOH
Chair, I'm really sorry,
is not
but
the one
the-
computing, but we will check po.
Yeah, please answer the question directly. Napakasimple po ng tanong. Kung umutang tayo ng $2.21 billion in 2021 and 2022 at ang conversion rate ay 51 pesos. At ngayon, magbabayad si Maria Tuan de la Cruz dito. Ito ay magiging times 58 pesos po ba? And in other words, your computation of billions pesos is not accurate anymore.
Congressman Garin, it's the current conversion rate.
In other words, your $100 million will not be 5 billion pesos. Because if you have, if you have $100 million times 58.5, that's 5.85 billion pesos. Di ba?
Unless may nabayaran na kayo previously, so the outstanding is just a portion.
The interest po, every time we have a withdrawal application, napapataw na po yung interest.
Kaya nga, kaya nga, pakisabi na lang po sa amin kung magkano yung value.
Madam Chair?
Yes po.
If I can say, yesterday's guiding rate of dollar was 58.50 yesterday.
Thank you, Honorable Pumaren. Yes, Ms. Alali, kindly proceed. Ang question is magkano yung inutan natin? Ganun lang kasimple. Nandito na tayo sa PSERP 1 and 2. And at the same time, babaguhin nyo ba yung valuation? Because nga may observation na nagtaas ang exchange rate at you confirmed naman na tumataas din. So are you going to change the value of the loan?
Yeah. Madam Chair, can I just confirm this? So you mentioned, Doc Aleli, PSERV $100 million, PSERV 2 $485,180,000, PSERV 3 $300 million, HIL 1 $125 million, HIL 2 $700 million, HIL 3 okay. In total, ang inutang is 2,210,000. No, sorry. 2,210,180,000. Can you confirm that figure? So if you translate that to pesos, considering the 51 peso conversion rate, that's tantamount to 112,719,180,000. But because the conversion rates has increased, nagkaroon na yan ng instead of 112 million, naging 112.7 billion, naging 129.3 billion na siya. Ganun po kalaki ang utang natin. Pero marami pa rin ang namatay, maraming healthcare workers ang hindi nababayaran, maraming ospital ang hindi nare-reimburse, at hindi rin natin ma-account kung yung mga binili ba natin ay talagang nagamit.
Madam Chair, interjection lang po.
Yes, Honorable Fernandez.
Maiksi lang. We're talking about billion of dollars. Can we have a copy? Baka andyan naman po yung copy ng loan agreement. This is our 6th loans agreement, right?
We actually requested it. Comsec, can you check your list? Is it one of the submissions? We
Thank you.
asked for copies of all loan agreements.
Madam Chair, we have copies of the loan agreements. We can
Already
give
submitted,
them.
right? Not
No,
yet?
Not yet po.
Kindly submit to us.
Kaya Madam Chair, pasensya na po, babalik ako kay Sec Pingoy. Kaya Sec Duque, bakit po tayo umutang ng 129.3 billion pesos? Kasi nakita naman natin sa datos na binigay ng DOH last week, nagbalik nga ng pera dahil hindi nagamit. So bakit po? Was this a necessary loan and who decided?
This was a collective decision of the DOF, Department of Finance, was the principal, nothing else. And so we just wanted to make sure that there will be enough vaccines. And therefore, I think that I anchor my support of that decision to really protect our people from the raging pandemic. So, yun lang po. Kasi wala naman po kaming ibang pakay, wala naman po kaming ibang iniisip kung hindi mabigyan ng sapat na proteksyon ang taong bayan. So, maganda naman po ang kinalabasan kasi 77 million po ng ating pinuntirya na mabakunahan by the end of 2022, more than 100% ang ating vaccination coverage with about 160 more or less million doses utilized, Your Honor. And the law, which I would like to thank Congress, you passed the National Vaccination Act of 2021 or 11525, RA 11525. And this really made a lot of difference in terms of building a wall of immunity for our people. And that is why we have tremendously, significantly reduced deaths because of our vaccination, national vaccination program, and providing protection to initially our healthcare workers who we prioritize at a time when there was limited supply of vaccines. Yun lang po, Madam Chairperson.
Honorable Garin.
Yeah. So basically, Madam Chair, I'm waiting for the documents on who decided on this loan. So, Sec Dico, you're saying that the 129 billion 295 million 530,000 pesos was all used to procure vaccines? Or maybe DOH can shed light on this. Secretary Bossa, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on records, only 71 billion was used for was allocated for vaccine.
Is that
And-
in pesos or
in
dollars?
pesos. And of the 71 billion, we only we obligated only 68 billion. Yun yung binayad natin. Oo. Correct. So yun facility,
Sec,
ma'am,
let's focus on the total amount. Wag yun, kasi kasama pa rin yun eh. Those are the taxes and everything. So you go back to 71, not to 68.
Ma'am, the way I understood it was this was a loan facility, like a credit line by ADB and World Bank during the time of the pandemic emergency.
So in other words, the 129.295 billion in pesos was not consummated?
Kasi in fact there were some were used for other things like test
Precisely.
kits
That's
and
what.
PPEs.
Yeah, that is what we were requesting last hearing. Okay, can you give us a breakdown? Saan ginamit or magkano ang nagamit out of the $2,210,180,000? Magkano ang ginamit at saan ginamit? That was a request last hearing, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, we will provide the committee.
Let me just interject quickly. SecDad, in the last hearing, there was another loan mentioned, a 45.3 billion peso loan, of which a bulk was returned. So can you confirm that? So in addition to the 71 billion, there was another loan, 45.3.
Yeah, this was actually returned last November.
So tama po.
approved
So
the
you
return
confirm
of
that?
this. Yes.
Yes.
The entire amount.
No, but,
So hindi lang po kasi ang sabi po nung huling hearing, may 2 billion po na ginamit of that 45.3 billion. So can you kindly confirm? Kasi dito kay Dr. Aleli, sinabi niya, merong 100% canceled. So ano po ba talaga?
Yeah, tama kayo, Madam Chair. 2,314 billion, 214 pesos was not utilized.
Was utilized
It was
or?
allotted, but it was not. Only 314,000 was actually utilized.
So dun sa
hindi na
four-
tayo bumili, kinancel
So dun
na
sa
natin.
45.3 billion,
45.3, yes.
43 yung kinancel
Correct.
pesos.
43 million 367,852.
Yung canceled.
Sinoli natin. Pesos. Correct.
Madam Chair, pasensya na wala ako doon, no? So out of the, let's go, pesos tayo, sected, no? Pesos. Out of the approximately 129.295 billion pesos na inutang, ang hindi nagamit ay 43 billion. Tama?
Tama.
Yun ang returned.
Yes, ma'am.
Ano yun? Returned
Yes,
ba yun
Madam
or
Chair.
canceled?
Returned.
Bali napunta sa inyo yung pera, binalik nyo or hindi na tinanggap yung pera?
Returned, ma'am, last
So
November.
pumasok yung pera. Kailan siya pumasok?
Pumasok siya when? Prior. No?
It never
2022.
Return siya, hindi siya did not come.
Okay. According to Bureau of International Health Cooperation, the third loan was not included in our budget. We just canceled.
that's
we will not
$300 million.
utilize the loan. That was what was the
Hindi.
Just to clarify, there's a third loan that's completely canceled.
Yes po. Yes po.
Reserve 3.
Yes po.
That's only 300.
So there were two cancellations. Merong isa na portion, merong isa na 100% cancellation. Okay, just to clarify.
So magkano? So sorry. So merong $300 million na canceled, yung PSERV 3, tama ba?
Yes.
Yeah, sected?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Tapos meron pang 43 billion pesos.
Yes.
Sected? Dalawa, ha?
Tama.
So that's, just to be sure with your facts, kasi,
Can I refer to Director Ella, who's more knowledgeable than I am?
Honorable Chair,
Director Ayala.
so out of the 45.369 billion, 40.8 billion was released by DBM. However,
teka, Madam
Ay,
Chair.
iba na naman.
Iba. Sa ano yan? Ano yung 45 plus? Is it peso, dollars? Let's be.
Pesos.
peso na po, peso.
So saan siya? Saan siya? Saan
Preserve.
siya? Preserve. Saan siya?
Magkakasama na po from ADB, AIB, and World Bank po. Kakasama na po.
So Madam Chair, Ma'am Ella,
Yes po.
dito sa sinabing 6 na loan, meron pang iba or wala na?
Ito pong binabasa namin ay pertaining only to the COVID-19 vaccine procurement po. Ang sinasabi po ni Director Aleli ay lahat po ng mga loans pertaining to COVID-19.
What we want is the whole loan in totality para hindi tayo ma-confuse. Di ba, Madam Chair? That's what we are, yeah. Okay. So para hindi tayo ma-confuse, tama yung 6, wala nang dagdag na loan yon. So, Madam Chair, may we ask Dr. Grace at Dr. Aleli Sudiakal again. Out of the 2.21 billion dollars, which translates to 129.295 billion pesos, Magkano ang hindi pumasok? Magkano ang pumasok at binalik?
Ang hindi po, Congressman Garin, ang hindi po talaga pumasok sa atin is the third HEAL projects. That's a HEAL 2 as additional financing worth $500 million.
Plus 300 ng reserve.
Hindi, if I may summarize po, ang hindi talaga pumasok sa coffers ng Department of Health, $500 million from the HEAL 2 additional financing plus $300 million from the PSERP 2 additional financing or $800 million po.
How much is that in pesos? The equivalent in pesos? Yung HEAL 3 at PSERB 3. 500 tsaka 300. Sa record nyo po, magkano po?
44.8
Okay.
billion pesos.
Hindi siya pumasok.
Hindi po pumasok.
So ano yung sinasabi nyo kanina na binalik?
Yun na po yun.
So hindi siya pumasok.
Hindi po talaga pumasok. Parang pinakancel po.
Canceled siya.
Opo, cancel.
Hindi siya na binalik.
Hindi po.
Okay. Did that cancellation entail a cost to the Filipino people?
It did not, but we have these two fees aside from the loan interest. There's a commitment fee and there's an interest. So the commitment fee is incurred as soon as the loan agreement po is signed, and the front end fee is a bank requirement po. It's an amount paid by the Philippine government in advance upon signing of the loan
How much is the
agreement.
total, Madam Chair?
For the commitment fee po,
Total na lang para isang
total.
figure na.
162 million pesos po for the commitment fee for the 6 projects. This is in pesos na po.
Cancel.
Sa cancel. 70.
So how much is the total cancellation fee?
It's not really called cancellation fee po, but commitment fee. So there is really no term as a cancellation fee. The
Okay. The commitment fee is 160 million pesos. Tama?
Yes,
Okay.
Congressman
Ano pa
Garin.
yung ibang mga binayaran dahil hindi natuloy yung dalawang utang na ito?
Yun lang po, but we also pay the front-end fee. So this front-end fee, as I mentioned, are bank requirements po. Idadagdag ko po ito, I will do the sum, but for the PSERP parent loan, $250. For the PSERP additional financing, or the second one, is $1,250,000. For the third PSERP is $750,000.
Mamalelit, total na lang para
Yes,
mas
ma'am.
mabilis tayo.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry po.
We just want to align because in the last hearing and for the information of
Yes.
Secretary Herbosa, we were informed by DOH that there was a payment, but we call that a wastage of approximately 2 billion pesos dahil hindi natuloy ang loan. And I believe the chairman can confirm this.
Yes, I confirm that. There was a mention of a 2 billion peso penalty fees.
Chair, my apologies. I said 2 million, but actually that was shooting from the hip. I did not have the exact data, so I apologize.
Oh, we all heard billion. Oh, you meant 2 million.
2 million po. But that was inaccurate because I didn't have the data at the time, so my apologies to
It was 2
this
billion,
body.
Madam Chair, because that was what was mentioned.
Oh,
So kung babaguhin yan,
okay lang.
it was very clear in our records and even in my notes. So we reviewed it
Well,
again
I
before
also
this
vividly
hearing.
heard you say 2 billion. That's why nagulat kaming lahat. But nonetheless, they're now under oath. Could you kindly do the computation
maybe, Madam
of your
Chair.
front-end fees?
Yeah, maybe, Madam Chair, may we request the Honorable Secretary to look into this. because this should not be repeated. Alam nyo naman yun, Sec, ang daming nag-aalok ng utang. Di ba? Maraming nag-aalok ng utang. We know that, having been in the department before. But we always refuse those loans. And I believe even Secretary Guevara was fully aware gaano kahigpit ng gobyernong umutang. Kasi maraming nagpapautang. But at the end of the day, we need to really assess whether it is advantageous or disadvantageous to the people. So, Sec Ted, if I may politely and respectfully request you to look into this and submit to the Honorable Committee the actual figures. So, my last question, Madam Chair, actually, na-challenge na ako, this is not against anybody, but earlier, Secretary Herbosa mentioned that the cheapest testing cost was with Red Cross. Yeah, but again, yun nga ang problema, maraming nag-aalok ng murang testing cost, but then PhilHealth was reimbursing it at 8,150. So, President Mandy, what happens during that time? Kunyari, nag-charge yung, example, Red Cross would charge 3,000 worth 4,000 pesos. Nire-reimburse ba yun sa PhilHealth? Pwede bang matignan? I'm not only referring to Red Cross, this is just an offshoot of the statement of Secretary Herbosa na it's not basically on Red Cross, but it was a concern that was conveyed by Kong Stella during the last hearing na merong mga institution who were actually collecting from PhilHealth using COVID testing. So minsan akala natin mura, sasabihin nila, 4,000 pesos lang, dapat nga 2,000 yan. But then records will bear it out that billions of pesos was spent on reimbursement. So,
Madam Chair, can I address a question?
Yes, please, Press Mandy.
Yeah. Based on my understanding, Congarin, the price cap is determined by Department of Health, DOH po.
So, Madam Chair, earlier Secretary Duque said that it was determined by PhilHealth. Now, PhilHealth is saying it was actually DOH, Sec Duque, who determined the cost. Kasi that was actually an issue during the previous
linawin po natin. Ang case rates, yan po ba ay subject to approval by the board? When you issued that policy, was that subject to board approval? Yes. Press Mandy?
Yes, ma'am. Honorable Kong Stella. It's determined by the EXECOM, PhilHealth EXECOM, and then approved by the Board of Directors po.
So, I'm sure you presided that board meeting. Ay,
Wala pa po, ma'am.
CEO Morales.
Yes.
Do you recall CEO Morales? The chairman, sorry. You remember being present in the board meeting when the case rate for the various COVID test packages were approved, sir?
No, Your Honor, I don't remember. These events happened 4 years ago, so I'm not anymore familiar with the details. But I was conscious that we started with a rather high cost, and we were trying to bring it lower because there was no testing available. There was only one laboratory that was doing it, and you could get the results in more than 1 day. So it was a seller's market, if I remember right. So the price was quite high.
How about
Madam Chair?
Secretary Duque?
So, sorry, Madam Chair, a quick interjection lang. Pasensya na po, General Morales, who's a very good friend of mine. In a pandemic, there's no seller's market because the government takes over. And Secretary Duque here and Secretary Herbosa is fully aware, even with MERS-CoV, even with SARS, the global community controls the prices. So kung isa lang yung laboratory, the more that PhilHealth should have been prudent not to waste money. I go back to you, Madam Chair, for Secretary Duque's response.
So, Secretary Duque, as chairman of the board of PhilHealth, you preside over the board meetings. Is that correct?
That is right, albeit non-voting
Yes.
member.
So do you recall presiding over this meeting where those COVID test case rates were approved?
I vaguely recall, because at that time, I was chairman of the IATF. So there were long stretch of meetings that I missed because I was, in fact, chairing the 36-member IATF for policy formulation that would eventually underpin the various health protocols in the different settings. So I think the PhilHealth can look at the records whether indeed there was this resolution approved by the board, Madam Chairperson. Yun lang po.
For 70 minutes. Press Mandy, could you kindly submit the minutes of the relevant board meetings?
Yes, Honorable Kong Stella, we will do that immediately. Kong, if I may add also, Madam Chair, sorry, if I may add, the costing and determination of the COVID-19 testing benefit package rate was based on two factors, no? Available market information, and the second one is in consultation with clinical experts. Just wanted to add that. Thank you, Madam Chair. We will furnish the minutes immediately, Madam Chair.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, let me just reiterate our request at PhilHealth to submit to this August body a breakdown of the reimbursements on all institutions who availed of COVID testing reimbursement from PhilHealth, including the unit cost per test. So, Madam Chair,
Yes,
with
Kong. We
to
shall-
give
we shall comply, Kong.
Yes, thank you.
you.
But to give courtesy to the other members, I yield and request to be listed in the second round.